Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hot Takes podcast, where we're always seeking to be humble, open, and transparent. And today I have a personality expert in the building. Barb, she's going to diagnose you and tell you why you're wrong. And no, we're going to go down a road where she's going to help us understand how we can all live in this crazy world together and use some different techniques and styles. But first, Barb, how are you? Introduce yourself to the people.
I am fantastic. I'm in sunny Tucson, Arizona, so we're
Ooh.
having we're having hot weather, but so it's perfect that we're on the hot boss today.
There we go. There we go. So it's good stuff. So Barb, what in the world do you do as it pertains to a purpose? How do you show up in the world?
How do I show up in the world? Well, I am a certified speaker, teacher, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. And I am also a certified behavior analysis trainer on the John Maxwell team, which means that I can give personality assessments and give people a report. We have, when someone does an analysis or assessment, they get a 30-page approximately report. Most of them are 30 pages, which goes through the basics of what your personality blend is. You know, we all have a personality. We all don't always get along with other personalities, and that's kind of why I'm here today, is to talk about how we can work through those issues and get along better and learn how some people just communicate differently.
Yeah.
So I do that. Also, I am a mom, a grandma, a great grandma, a foster mom. So I have a lot of family, which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I'm so interested in the personality aspect of life, because being in a tumbleweed type of family that I have, you know, kids, grandkids, stepkids, ex-husbands, you know, that kind of thing, it really is important to be able to communicate properly with other people.
That's amazing. I always love connecting with other folks that are from large families. I am number 6 of 7 kids in our household. So the Henderson tribe, we're 9 strong. But growing up in that household, I would tell I don't know what my life would be like if I would have grew up in a small family. I think I would have missed out on something. But in the uniqueness of it all, with 5 older sisters. So me and my brother are the youngest. Yeah. So we had a
Wow.
lot of life to watch happen in front of us. So when you talk about understanding personalities, why is that important, of some important work for people to take on, or at least be curious about?
Well, I think it's important to understand that we are all different. You know, you're not the same as I am, which is amazing and wonderful and beautiful, I think. I love the fact that we are all diverse. We all have different personalities and we all bring something to the table. So understanding that people have different personality types and different communication styles is what can help us get over, I mean, anywhere from hurt feelings to just absolutely shutting someone down, thinking that they aren't someone you want to get to know.
As we think about assessments, right? Like at any stage in life, if you have any type of professional career, you've probably taken 1, 2, or 20 of the different personality assessments, whether it's Myers-Briggs. I've taken the Berkman, which I believe is Myers-Briggs on steroids. I've taken Strength Finders. I've taken all the rest of those. When you say your personality assessments, which modality in particular are you an expert in giving and debriefing?
The one that I use is the DISC method. And what has happened is the John Maxwell group has brought together, it collaborated with the DISC folks so that we can have a real comprehensive report and very thorough analysis of personality blends and how they can relate to others and how to use that in the workplace and in your family and when you're goal setting and that kind of thing.
Nice. So I always like to tell people I am my first client. So I coach me, I try things on me first. If you were conducting a disc and debrief on someone similar to yourself, what are some things as you're approaching them as a coach, what are some of the things that you begin to work through with a client that has just finished taking an assessment?
Well, if they are the same personality as me, we would be having a lot of fun and we would be laughing, getting off topic, having to get ourselves back because I am a talkative person and I like to have fun. That's basic, my basic person wants to have fun and love everybody and have a good time. I don't worry about facts or figures, that kind of thing, which can get me in trouble. So I was not surprised to find that I was a high I when I took this assessment. Now, I have done the Strengths Finder, which I found very interesting as well. So, as many of us have, I have
Mhm.
done numerous tests. And so I find it interesting that you've done Strengths Finder. I think that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah, yeah. I've actually, out of all of them, I believe, Strength Finders, just from the premise of just the title in and of itself, identifying and really boiling it down to kind of your five. And I love that I first took Strength Finders a year after getting out the military, and it was my first job, my first corporate job outside of the Army, and to see what my strengths were. And then I took it this past January, and how I had changed. A couple of my strengths had moved on and moved to the later numbers, and it all was a shift that was happening in my life. That some real things have begun to come up for me. And as you're thinking about how you help a corporate client understand the nuances on a team,
Mhm.
and if you say somebody, you have the one, I am who I am, all right? The leader who's been there 20, 30 years, I'm not changing. But then you have to lead this new passionate group of new people to the workforce. How are you coaching that group or that leader to engage and well, one, be willing to engage
Mhm.
with different personality styles?
Well, it's absolutely imperative that you learn to communicate with all the different styles. We're going to have different styles in every team or on every team. So learning how to communicate with each other, it's vital. You have typically like your D's who are a lot of times they can come across as assertive or bossy or they want to run the show. Well, that's them. They're not trying to be rude necessarily. They want to get things done. They they are doers. They want to, get it done. Let's do it and go on and move on with life. They don't want to linger. Whereas, the eyes, we want to have fun. And then you have your steady folks who, they don't like sudden change. They'd rather kind of see us ease into things where your D's are like, okay, let's do it. Your S's are more kind of like, hmm, let's see if we can just make little changes along the way. And then your C's, they want all the answers. They want to know, well, how is this going to happen? Why is this going to happen? When's it going to happen? They're those folks who really, they're kind of by the book kind of people. So they want to make sure that everything's being done properly. So, but having a blend of that is what makes a team fabulous. And you get that synergy from each other. And when you learn to communicate properly with each other, you can do amazing things and really take whatever your goals are to the next level.
I'm always and it was almost like you were in my head, because I was going to ask you, like, what camp are you in as far as it pertains to having a mixed team versus having everybody same mindset, same style on a team pushing towards a goal. What's the importance of having a diverse group of mindsets and characters in a room?
Well, really, for example, I was doing a day program for ladies, and the gal that I hooked up with, she's a C. So she is, by the book, kind of a little more even keel than I am. And, because I'll just dive in and start going and hang myself if I was allowed to. So, I just get excited about a concept and I'm ready to go. But then I can also kind of, oh, look, a shiny object, kind of thing. So I need someone to keep me grounded. So a C and an S are perfect. They're perfect for me because they keep me where I need to be. They keep me grounded and on task and that kind of thing. And D's are the same way. Your driven folks are also, sometimes we need to hold them back a minute and say, okay, well, let's not jump into this right now. Let's look at a couple of options or a couple of things that could happen. There could be consequences if we just dive right in. So let's just hold back a second. So those are kind of our reins, I guess. You could call them our reins.
Yeah, I love that, right? It's the old play on the yin and yang in the counterbalance in a conversation, right? You need the elements to be present, right? To
Right.
make sure that you're having a thorough conversation where you're connecting to the senses of everybody and they're bringing their pieces to the party. And I always tell people anytime I would do a training, particularly as we were talking about personality styles and whether it was Myers-Briggs with the extroverts and the introverts, always giving each of the characteristics assignments when they come to meetings, right? Making them a responsibility to hone into their strengths as a characteristic so that they can get everybody else involved. And so your D's, I would always tell my D's like, hey, make sure you involve everybody in the conversation. Don't just want to get to the action. You process quickly, you process out loud. Don't just get to the action and then leave everybody behind. Like, no,
Mhm.
get everybody involved, right? Throw your ideas out early and then, hey, pull it out of people, right? And understand you might have to drag some people along, but get after it. And when you're doing work with any groups, um, what makes you come alive as you facilitate this type of group learning as it pertains to personality styles?
I have found that I find joy in seeing other people overcome. So when someone has that aha moment and they're like, kind of that's my answer, or, I did that and I didn't think I could, or, seeing people overcome their struggles is what brings me joy. So that's what lights my fire, is just watching people do the things that they didn't think that they could, or finding an answer that they've been struggling to when they didn't even know the question a lot of times.
Love it. I love it. I love it. It's such the coaching you. It's seeing one to cheer people on, wanting them to win. And I absolutely love. I'm the same way. That lights me up when I'm watching somebody and at first their head's not moving, but then when I start to get the bobbleheads and
Hmm.
I start and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm cooking with Crisco now. We're ready to
Right,
rock and roll,
right.
right? And when you that new team when you get them over that hump, right, and it feels like they're picking up momentum, they're kind of getting it. What do you believe sometimes gets in the way of
Mm.
making that connection particularly as it pertains to personality styles? What do you believe gets in the way?
Wow, it could be any number of things, but sometimes I believe that I have found self-doubt, that maybe someone is not really believing that they are as big a part of the team, or there's always something in there that has an effect on the team. Again, it's personality. We all have different walks of life. For example, you're number what, 6 of 7. I'm number 2 of 5. So, we all come from a different walk of life. We all have a different past. We all have a different perspective on life and how things should be run. And yes, our personality comes into play there, but our past does as well. So, I think that some of that, and maybe, I mean, it could be anything as far as, how other teams have done it. For example, your S-type people are going to be the type that, well, my other team did it this way, so why can't we do it this way? And those people have to be gently moved into the direction that the whole team wants to go. And your D's, they'll just run people over. So, like you said, I love how you said that. You don't leave everybody behind when you're prepping someone of that personality type. Yeah, you don't want them to run them over, and they might. So, and I think that working within those confines of the personalities is what can sometimes be a struggle.
Yeah.
And that's when we can come in and, kind of help work through those issues and, get through them.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things and the reason why I love those particularly as you begin as a foundation to kind of, it's a pulse check, right? To see where everyone is. Because as an Army officer, and just thinking about the Myers-Briggs and shout out to Myers-Briggs, but some of the things that you believe about that assessment are, I am an anomaly. And the modality of Myers-Briggs says your personality doesn't change. Well, I was a strong ESTJ, which is I'm in charge. When in charge, take charge. That was the infantry leader motto. When in charge, take charge. Follow me. And I would through and through ESTJ. Well, transitioned out a little over 5.5 years ago out of the military. I no longer was leading troops. I no longer had a need to be go, 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 go all the time. And I retook, and I had some stuff switch on me. And I went from ESTJ, strong numbers, to ESFJ, where I stopped being such a thinker and I started feeling more. And that's really when I took on the modality and really started seeking coaching. And again, I no longer had to be the person in charge. And it was some intentional self-work that I began doing, that I began shifting. And so to your point, we can be shaped by our experiences. And if I had somebody who literally put me in the box of every other person they met from the military, and that's how they began dealing with me and interacting with me. And they weren't dealing with the version of me that showed up. And had they introduced themselves to me back when I first got out, I might have been the stereotypical person at the box they were putting me in. But Coach Me was a totally different person. And when somebody is put into a personality box and their leader or someone is only dealing with them in a way that feels right for that person, what are the dangers in that?
Absolutely, miscommunication. You're not going to be able to communicate on a proper level or get your message across if you're treating someone opposed to how they want to be treated. They may not even understand that that's what it is, but the personality is going to rub wrong, and depending on which personalities you're dealing with, you may end up with some big blow ups. I mean, you could even have people walking out. You never know. So I do think that it is important to be cognizant of other personality types and how we should relate to each other. And for me, I'm feeling all the way. I'm a feeler. I want to feel good. I want everybody to feel good. I want everybody to be happy. So, and so I get uncomfortable when someone is being maybe more assertive or kind of walking over people, or so you really, really do need to be careful of that. And miscommunication, I think, is the number one thing that could absolutely happen if you have someone that's not being sensitive to that.
How would you coach a leader who may be in that boat? And I know you've probably got
Mhm.
I've just jogged your memory of a couple hundred folks that come to mind that, you know, they were going down that road and they just wanted to do things their way. How do you begin to help someone reframe who may be that leader that is just wanting to communicate or miscommunicate time and time again, and they won't sit still long enough to see how that's affecting the team? What are some things and some techniques that you use to get through to that leader?
Hmm. Wow. I think living examples are the best way to kind of redirect a behavior that might not be so desirable. I call it positive manipulation, where you help someone see something that they don't see in order to make a change that will benefit them.
There you go.
So, manipulation is typically thought of as a bad word, but I think sometimes we need that. Of course, I think of a massage or a chiropractic manipulation, and that feels good. And that's for
Hmm.
my best. That's what's best for me when I get a manipulation. So I think about it in that way, in that we're manipulating to, but it's a positive thing. And like I said, we don't always see it. So we need to be able to see what the problem is in order to fix it. So I think life examples of, well, when you were doing this and this happened, this was the result because of the way these things progressed. So how do you think maybe this could have been handled a little differently? Maybe what could we have done, or what could the team have done a little differently that may have ended in a different result, a little more positive result?
Yeah, yeah. What comes to mind for me is, and I love storytelling, as you can tell. But the movie Remember the Titans, when first time Sunshine had to go in for Rev, right after he got hurt, and Denzel told the story about having 12 brothers and sisters and how he had to take care of them all, and he told this story, and it was this, and in Sunshine he was all in. He was like, "Okay, coach." Okay, coach, I could do it. And he runs off and they score a touchdown. And the other assistant coach was like, "You had 12, brother?" He was like, "No, I had 8, but 12 sound better." And so it's that positive manipulation of having the conversation, getting the point across to help somebody help themselves get unstuck.
Mhm.
And it may be a mindset. It may just be something that they're it's like snagging your shirt or something on a hook, and you're just like, I need to get free without tearing a hole in this shirt, and just need a little assistance from someone to pull it from another angle so I won't rip the shirt. And I love that. And I believe as a coach, right, there's little breadcrumbs. We use questions as breadcrumbs. We use
Right.
stories as breadcrumbs to help people help themselves. And I always like to think, I had the ones like help people feel like it was their idea,
Mhm.
so they could process it better. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing particularly when you're trying to work through a leader that may potentially have some ego things happening as well.
Mhm.
And so, what got you into this work? And wanting, well, I would ask it this way: what made you want to get into this work?
Helping people. I came from a real estate career, and I got to thinking, well, lovely, I'm helping people get a mortgage. That's And don't get me wrong, I love helping people buy a home and get into their dream home, or first time home buyers. I love first time home buyers because they're so excited, and I can educate them on the process. But I wanted to find a way that I could make a bigger impact on people. Fine, I can put people in a new home and they're happy for a while and then they get maintenance, and I wanted to make a bigger impact. I want people to be happy. I want people to be successful. I want people to be victorious over the things in their life that are holding them back. And I just saw this as a better way to be able to have a bigger impact on more people. And I've been blessed to know of John Maxwell since the mid 80s. And so I fell in love with him then. I love his mission that, adding value to people so people can add value to people. It's a pay it forward kind of thing. And I just love that.
That's so awesome. Well, I would tell you, Barb, it comes through, and I believe understanding yourself and doing that self work, particularly through a self assessment, is the beginning and the makings of beautiful music. And so I want others to be connected to you. I want others to reach out to you. So how can they reach out to you and benefit from your services?
Well, I have a website. It's called steppingstonesvip.com. So I can be found there. Again, it's Stepping Stones VIP, as in very important person, because everybody's a very important person to me.
There you
I
go.
love everybody. Or, of course, I'm on Facebook, steppingstonesbarb.com, or Stepping
Nice.
Stones Barb on Facebook.
Nice, nice. Well, good. Well, Barb, thank you once again for coming to hang out with me for a couple minutes,
Oh, it's my
talking to
pleasure.
me about the disc and just helping people learn about other personality styles and how to live better collectively. I absolutely love it. So thank you for your time. Thank you for the gift of you. And we'll be talking to you soon.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much.